me feeling like I'm academics. Can't
Realizing, have y'all seen this? Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you. Yo, I do like PBD. Well, PBD be on some like, when PBD be talking, bro, I could tell that nigga give me Ponzi scheme vibes, man. That nigga be giving me like, you know, one of them where it's like, yo, let me have, I'm gonna have CoffeeZilla like,
hello, quick.
I'm kind of break it down. So PBD, if you don't know who that is, that Patrick Bet David, right? Patrick Bet David. He's one of these guys that I've seen, like, you know, he's taken over the political commentary space with his show. He's a smart guy, but I've always been a little bit weary of him. Why? I'll tell you why. He reminds me of a lot of scammers online, because more than trying to gain a viewership for his content, he's always upselling some shit that always seem a little sketchy. Like, if you go on his show, he's trying to promote Minect, which is like his app. And we get it, you know, everybody loves products and merchandise. And like, I'm not saying that because he's a YouTuber, you shouldn't have that shit. We have merch. But there's something about him that just kind of breeds just pure capitalism. And also like capitalism probably at the expense of his audience. And recently, it's kind of came out that, you know, a bunch of people in his audience got scammed. And there's a shit ton of stories that are coming out left, right, and center, basically saying, yo, what's been happening with Patrick Bet David and some of the things he's been running, capitalized off in his YouTube audience, is almost like damn near either unethical or borderline fraud. Okay? So he throws an event, and there was a like huge sponsor. And the sponsor basically gets access to the people that went to the show, and they have a whole presentation. But essentially, the sponsor scammed his audience, and it scammed him for $1 million. Or not, actually, I don't know how much money, but he was paid $1 million by the sponsor to get access to his audience. But the sponsor scammed his audience. So CoffeeZilla called him to be like, yo, bro, you know, like this company you worked with and you kind of vouched for because you took business with them. And keep in mind, this is not like some guy that's like doesn't know. This is a business guy. Like, if you listen to Patrick Bet David, he talks business. It's business. He's always talking about, like, you know, back in the office, or he's talking about like his days working, selling insurance, or whatever the case is. So that's like his thing. So when you see a scam happen underneath his nose, people start getting weary of him because people used to listen to his voice unilaterally. Listen to this, though.
Quick update. Patrick Bet David reached out to me shortly after I posted saying that he has to apologize. He should address the whole Christopher Delgado situation. That video is here. I uploaded it because I thought it is not going to make sense what we're talking about unless you have that context. He immediately DM'd me and said, hey, look, I want to call. So I'm posting this video immediately afterwards, unedited, because I want you guys to hear my call with Patrick Bet David. I addressed the apology. You know, you should apologize for taking this guy on, this Ponzi scheme. You promoted it. You'll hear me talk about the $1 million. Say, hey, can you commit right now to getting that?
Okay. Oh, that's when he talks about it. I want to, here we go. Okay.
Just want to talk. So you can hear him address all the payment from personally, huge payment from a Ponzi schemer. And I want to know if they're going to pay it back. It's just as simple as that. I want to know if they're going to apologize for their role in legitimizing a total scammer.
Chat, scamming is like, scamming and internet shit just go together real well, you know?
Which hasn't been done yet as far as I'm aware. I reached out to the PBD organization, Patrick Bet David personally. It's been about a week. I haven't heard back, so I have to talk about it. Now, if you don't know the full lore, let me bring you up to speed really quick.
Let's go.
Goliath Ventures was a Ponzi scheme that took in over $320 million of regular people, retirees, business owners' money under the promise of making them multiple percents per month. We made a CoffeeZilla video about it recently. Christopher Delgado recently talked to the press here without his lawyer present, And we reported this back in October to federal authorities, and about 6 months later, Christopher Delgado was officially arrested.
The Justice Department says the 34-year-old scammed investors out of $328 million through his company, Goliath Ventures.
Meaning we're no longer speculating here. He has been formally charged. He's even admitted a lot of this in interviews.
What happened to their money that should have been sitting in an account?
Their money was being used to make distributions.
To who?
To either them or other investors.
And what else did you use the money for?
I mean, we used it for corporate events. We used it for personal spend.
So this goes way beyond the it's just allegations.
Now, I want to keep connecting it back to Patrick Bet-David. I'm telling you, Patrick Bet-David, he's like one of those guys where it feels like anytime you're listening to him for too long, he's gonna require you to spend some money. Like it kind of comes off like he's always trying to peddle some shit, and with those guys you become weary of because it kind of comes off more than greed. Sometimes it comes off just like a finesser.
Bro, Christopher Delgado has confessed to a lot of this behavior. And where Patrick Bet-David comes into all of this is because he was a huge form of social proof for Christopher Delgado to seem legit. His entire organization kind of made this guy mainstream.
Goliath Ventures, founded in 2019. Goliath Ventures is a global private equity firm focused on blockchain, founded by Chris Delgado. It's built on 3 pillars: technology, opportunity, and community.
And this is why I reached out to Patrick Bet-David and his team only to get no response. I'm expecting some accountability here. Our story starts in 2025 when this guy, Christopher Delgado.
Okay, so long story short, he scams these motherfuckers for $328 million. Then they get Patrick Bet-David on the phone in the next thing. And listen to this call. I rock with Patrick, but I ain't gonna lie, that nigga sound like a scammer gang.
Confirming that I'm recording starting now. This is Patrick Bet-David. We're talking about the Vault Conference sponsored the Goliath Ventures. Look, ultimately the big question is this. 1, are you returning the $1 million paid to your consulting company back to the receivership, back to the victims? And 2, I think, look, a lot of people got hurt in this. You were the number one, probably, credibility person in this. How does that feel? Are you going to apologize? Are you going to address it, publicly? I think people want to know. People look to you, as this entrepreneurship guy. It is, frankly, a bad look.
Yeah, so first of all, you hate to see things like this. Hate to see things like this that happens. And every once in a while, this takes place. When an issue like this comes up.
Hang up on that nigga, man.
This is, typically when we do sponsorship, if you know anything about me, Steven, I hate doing sponsorships. We stopped doing sponsorships on the podcast 2 years ago because of this exact reason. We literally stopped. It's probably cost us $15 to $20 million of sponsorship the last 2 years. The only place we've taken sponsorship money for, outside of the basic YouTube AdSense that you get, that you're accustomed to it as well, we do the events. So if I do a Vault conference, there's a moment for networking and people set up their booth. And so this guy came to the Vault conference for the last 4 years. And at the end of it, one of my reps comes up to me. I've never spoken to him. We've seen him at the event, typically with everybody else. And he says he wants to be the title sponsor. Okay, great. He goes through the whole thing. We go through the background that our legal team does. Obviously, we make reference calls. We call others to see what they can say about him. And we call people that we had known for 10 plus years.
Nobody flagged him. Nobody flagged the 4 to 5% a year or a month. I'm sorry.
No, it's a fair question. It's the most disappointing thing. Not one person that's done business with him flagged him. Okay. And so then we say, great.
Yo, he's laughing because he's like, yo, Patrick, you scamming too, bro.
Let's go through the sponsorship. Now, when you do sponsorship, you have to deliver on stuff. So meaning we have to set up the booth. We have to set up all these different places where people walk up to them. These 20 by 30, 30 by 30, 40 by 40 booth that you create for them, that they have an opportunity for people to go through. So we flew in. Typically when somebody becomes a sponsor, We fly in, we meet them in Vegas, and then we show them, or whatever hotel we're going to be at, and we'll say, hey, here's your location. You're the title sponsor. We're going to put it here. And then, their logo is going to be in different places, but it's not a endorsement. So it's not like I endorse. It's a sponsorship.
It does feel like an endorsement, though.
You're right. No, you're right. I agree. And by the way, again, we learn. So for us, we said we're going to do two, what do you call it? The Vault Conference is brought to you by Goliath. Okay, so we did that a couple times because that was part of the title sponsor. By the way, we've changed our entire title sponsor stuff that we're doing, bro. Where if it's not like a Fortune, 2000 company, we don't even want to entertain it. Because sometimes the best way is to make sure other investors have vetted them. And listen, in this space, there's a lot of risk in any of the space you get into.
Right, but he's the title sponsor. This is just last year. This isn't like 5 years ago.
No, you're right.
And it was 3 endorsements. At one point it sounded like an ad read. You're like, the 3 pillars are this. It like read like ad copy the way you're reading it.
No, we never did endorsement. We said it's sponsored. And by the way, just so you know, there's certain things I can't talk about. There's certain things I can because we're cooperating with the federal authorities, and we're having meetings with them. We're having conversations with them. All of this stuff will be public. We've learned a lot of things about
You've been subpoenaed, right? Like you have been subpoenaed, correct?
Of course, absolutely.
So are you going to turn the money over? That seems to be an important question.
That's the conversation we're in right now, and you will hear all about it when the decision is made.
Well, what decision? I feel like we could make a decision now and do a good thing,
Steven, I know what...
So remember, the guy finessed $328 million. What CoffeeZilla is saying to Patrick Bet-David is like, yo, bro, they paid you $1 million to have access to your audience, which they scammed a lot of your audience. Will you give back at least what they paid you? Like, they paid you $1 million. They got $328 million out of it. Yo, could you at least throw back the $1 million you got, to help pay people back? And yeah, Patrick ain't really trying to hear that shit.
What you're doing, the part that you don't know about the way I do business, I don't avoid you. Meaning, if you and I did something together many years, I'm not a guy that's going to be sitting there running, avoiding. When we make mistakes, we'll call it out. When we do things that is right, great, we're celebrated. This is not one of the things that we're celebrating. We're not happy about this, and we're doing a lot of things behind closed doors. The part that I'll give you one part that I think it's important to know, and for your audience to know, the part that a lot of people they're concerned with, and I'm talking specifically the authorities, is the people that were working with them getting paid big money. Those are the ones that they're targeting in a big way. We've not, this wasn't how sometimes you do certain crypto deals and it's like, hey, affiliate, you're going to get this much money for this affiliate. Zero. We didn't accept nothing like that. So there isn't, hey, we're going to pay you an additional, 10% on whatever that's done. Zero. We don't do business.
Right. You got paid but you got paid the $1 million, right? And so
but the $1 million has
and look, I'm not. I know it sounds like I'm trying to put you on the spot. I'm not. It just seems like you're gonna have to fork it over eventually for the receivership, anyways. Like so many people lost money. It seems like an easy win,
And that's the part where I'm in right now. You gotta respect that part that I'm going with. I gave you the respect of getting on a call with you and giving you the information. The information will come out.
No, I appreciate it. So you're not sure whether you're paying the money back yet or not. You're having those conversations.
But here's the other part that you also don't know. You don't know if we're doing other things with the conversations we're having with others. There's a lot of different things that we're doing that's not public. The only thing you know is the stuff that you're hearing.
Okay.
What we have to do right now is individually, as we're going through this, a matter of fact, I'll make a commitment to you. Once everything is finalized with this, you'll be the first phone call that I'll make to share with you, because over the years you've been fair to me and I respect the fact that we have this relationship. I think you do a very good job. This was definitely not a good look. We're not happy about this ourselves. I take 100% of responsibility as the face of this company. And we have to get better next time. We just do.
Right. So obviously y'all are about to run the Vault Conference again. You know, it might be a reasonable concern.
And
People.
guess what? You want to know something? We're about to run the Vault Conference again, and we don't have a title sponsor for this exact reason.
Because you were worried about it, or nobody coughed up the millions?
No, not because we don't have people that don't want to be title.
Okay.
Not because we don't have people that don't want to be title. Because as you run a company and you go through building a business, one of my previous companies you and I talked about, I sold it 4 years ago. You're going to make a lot of business as an operator. You have to make adjustments and improve. You just do. And so for us, as we sat there with our team and our executive team, we said, what do we need to do for this not to happen again? Well, guess what? The criteria of becoming a title sponsor just became more difficult. And so it's not something that we spend a lot of money on this event. This is not like an event that we do that is a small event. There's a lot of hard costs for the event. But it changed the guidelines. It changed the guidelines on who we're going with, and we'll entertain different levels of sponsors. But even right now, the lowest level of sponsorship, we're declining. I would say 50% of people that are wanting to become sponsors.
Okay, so you're adjusting the sponsorship guidelines after this kind of debacle.
Absolutely.
So you're thinking about the 1 million. You know, maybe not. You said you're having some other conversations. What about an apology? I know it's usually not that you're not the type, but I think, you know, given the context, you're the biggest name. I mean, like, I cannot overstate this guy. I talked to a lot of the victims in this case. You know, a lot of people, they come in, they see a big name like yours. It's just immediate trust, right? They say, hey, it's Patrick Bet-David. I know that guy. He wouldn't be at the Yankee Stadium with this guy if it was nothing. It wouldn't be the Vault title conference, guy. So to those people, to the people who may have invested because they saw your name attached, what do you have to say to them?
Yeah, and again, fair question. This is what I'll tell you. When you and I become investors, and I'll call a guy that say,
he does everything but answer a question like directly.
Guy I respect a lot. He's a billionaire, and he's done a lot of deals. And he'll introduce me to a deal, and I'll get into it, and I'll put whatever, $5 million, $2 million, $500,000, $100,000. It doesn't go right. I'm the risk taker. Okay, I'm the risk taker that chose to invest into that deal. The onus is with me, the individual that chose to take the risk. So I took the risk of accepting this guy as the title sponsor. At that time, we didn't find anything. For me to apologize, it's apologizing for a mistake he made? No. What could we have done to find something else? There was nothing else to find what the guy was doing.
The whole pitch of Goliath was 3 to 5% a month. That's just unsustainable. You know that. I know that. Like, everybody knows 3 to 5% a month. That doesn't happen.
There are quite a few guys in the space that do that in a way that's worked for them, that are slightly more conservative. But again, for us, when we're sitting down,
who though? I don't even know who. No, I don't think that's true. I have to push back on that.
Not at a 3 to 5%, but this is not an abnormal model.
It's totally no. The pitch he was making was abnormal. When you actually looked at the pitch he was making, it was completely abnormal. It was not a normal hedge fund.
If you let me finish, I'll tell you my perspective.
Yeah.
This form is not abnormal. The numbers he chose was abnormal. I think the more now we think about it, what this guy was relying on is the following. This is my speculation, and you can take an angle with it or not. I think this guy was hoping that Bitcoin was going to go to $250,000 and he was going to get away with it, and it didn't. And it ended up, putting him in the situation he is right now for $328 million. This guy's going to be facing, many, many years of prison time. This is not a small little crime that he committed. So for us, if I were to tell you, hey, my guys knew and we investigated this and we knew everything about him and we did, I would apologize. We did not know. I
don't think you're apologizing because you knew. I think you're apologizing for not doing the due diligence that someone of your stature.
I've already told you, Stephen. As a leader, the way I have gotten to where I'm at in my life right now is as a leader. I take responsibility for the decisions we've made, and we have to get better when it comes down to this. So we've made the adjustment ourselves as a company, and we've had many conversations with many of the people. And trust me, it's been a lot of late night calls with a lot of different people to as they're going through this. This is not a pretty situation, but
does anyone watch PBD? It's just like, even when he talking about politics, like, he has a way of, like, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you, he gives big scammer vibes still.
There is nothing we could have done on our end. If this would have happened, let's just say this happens a week before the vault, a day before the vault, a month before the vault. We're not even going through with this. But it happened months after the vault. And there wasn't anything that we could have looked at to say this was an issue. Again, remember, the part, like,
I think you could have looked at his pitch deck. Hold on, I just want to go back a second. There's a few things you said. I don't want to go too far without addressing a few. So you said, look, I think he was betting on Bitcoin going up. I mean, that's not true. He was just taking in wires to Coinbase. Well, I'll tell you. Yeah, I can tell you because I looked into it. So he was just taking in money to Coinbase and just paying out people. All his story about liquidity pools, all that wasn't true. It was just a straight up Ponzi scheme. You said, one thing you said is, look, I'm a leader. I have to own up to my mistakes. Sometimes owning up to your mistakes is just apologizing. Again, it's not a gotcha. I really want to give you the platform because this is the first time you're addressing it, to just say, hey, look, I'm not saying that you knew that it was a Ponzi scheme. It was. The returns were completely unrealistic. You said that yourself. I mean, if someone can't rely on you to do that due diligence, it's just kind of like you're kind of saying you messed up without saying it, though.
That's an unfair statement to make, but, you're doing your part and you're asking me the questions and I'm giving you my answer. And this is my answer to you.
Right.
Again, if I knew any of this stuff before, of course I have to apologize. If we knew and by the way, what's $1 million? Nothing to us.
So why not commit it, though? But why not commit it back to the people who lost money?
Let me make my point. What I mean by this, the $1 million is spent for an event. If we knew a second before the event, this is what's going on, of course we're taking a different position. But we didn't know, Stephen. It's that simple.
So it sounds to me, though, like you're like, hey, look, we spent the money on the event. Too bad, so sad to the people who lost all their money.
That's not what I'm saying. No, I sympathize with everybody. I've lost money. I don't get to where I'm at without having lost money many
Did
times.
you lose money with Chris Delgado?
I didn't invest too much money. None. And by the way, Stephen, remember this part as well. That this is very important for you to share with your audience. Valuetainment got started since 2013. Okay, it's very important for you to know this. From 2013 till today, we run a consulting firm. I have different companies that I'm running under my holding company. The Vault Conference, speaking fees that I get, everything that we do. How much money you think has gone in my personal pocket? Meaning, how much money you think every year I've taken off the table or I pay myself a salary from all my holding companies outside of the insurance company that I sold? What do you think the number is?
I don't see how this is relevant. You and I both know the way you structure your wealth for tax purposes is a wide variety of ways. So if you tell me it's $0, then it doesn't really.
Question, and I'm giving you the argument for this for you to know, because you said something, and I'm defending that position. Here's the position. Every year, no matter how much money the company makes, I've chosen to not take any money off the table. Meaning none of this money.
Yeah, but you owe the money. You own the company. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. PBD is one of them, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. Slick talker, too.
It comes back in my pocket. 100% of the money is reinvested in what we're doing. I don't take an income.
Yeah, but if you ever want to sell the company, you own the company.
That's not like I know to the public it seems like this is, well, you make the money. I didn't make the money. The money's in the business.
Yeah, but you own the business, though. You own the business, which has the money.
But
But you and I both know. Look, I have an S corp as well, Patrick, and I can play this game. Oh, I took X. I didn't choose to take this from the business. A lot of those are just accounting structural reasons, or hey, you're reinvesting it in the business because you expect to make more in the future.
Profits off the table.
To me,
every year, and most people pay them.
You gotta get to the point of, look, ultimately, the money that was paid to you, this is the critical thing that I just want to, kind of ask you very directly about. The money that was paid to you was not Chris's money, okay? If it was Chris's money, I would understand. It was other people's money.
I told you this at the beginning, Steve.
He had stolen the money. It's stolen money you have, or your business, David Consulting has.
There's a part of this that I shared with you respectfully. I said, I have to go through certain conversations I'm having with them, and you're jumping the gun. And I said to you, there are certain things I cannot talk to you about. This is one of them. The moment we get through where we're at, you're the first phone call we're making.
I'd love to be.
To address the one question to you.
Yeah.
If we knew any information before, I wouldn't hesitate to apologize. But we didn't.
But your due diligence failed, and you recognize that. That's what you would apologize for. I'm not saying you're apologizing for knowing it's a Ponzi scheme.
I will gladly. I've already said to you, I man up on the mistake that we have to do a better job with due diligence.
Right, but you're manning up on the mistake. You're manning up on, hey, we got to do better. But you're stopping short of saying, hey, I apologize for not doing better before.
You're fairly a reasonable guy.
Yeah.
Do you think if I found anything, do you think this is worth it to me to go through this? Do you think it's worth it to me to have Steven on CoffeeZilla make a video, and I'm getting video saying, hey, what charity do you have that you're getting? You think it's worth it for me to do this? You think the juice is worth it? Like, you think if I knew this is who this guy was, I would have done this? What do you, Steven, respectfully, your opinion. Do you think if I knew this guy was fraud, I'd take the money from him? Your opinion.
I think there were insufficient, checks on this. And you agree with that.
The question, though, you're right, they did. Now I know.
Yeah.
What I'm asking you is the question, and see if you can, at least I've been fair with you, see if you can be fair with me.
Sure.
Do you really think if I knew this guy is a criminal, I would have taken a penny from the guy? Give me the credit there at least.
Oh, sorry.
Do you think
It seems like you have plenty of money. Your company has plenty of money.
I already did address it with you. Yeah, this is going to end up costing me more than $1 million, just so you know that. This is not going to. I'm not winning here in any way. Okay, because of that reason of last year, I can't even take any sponsorship money for title this year. So imagine how much it's cost me to take that guy last year.
This guy's like, damn, I can't get another $1 million this year, even though y'all lost 328.
And hire lawyers this year. This has not made my life any better. In no way. It's just become a lot of noise, and I don't like noise. So if
I think we should put it to bed. I think I think you should. I think there's a very clear path to putting this whole thing to bed, saying, "Hey, look, I've improved my policies going forward. We're going to make it tougher to be a title sponsor. I paid back the money, and I'm sorry to the people who invested." I mean, I feel it's kind of silly because I feel like in some ways I'm advocating for your fans who might have been there and invested. Really, it's not I don't think it was probably a lot of the people who watch me that probably were invested. I think it's your fans. That's kind of why I'm surprised the pushback.
And I appreciate that. Trust me, nobody cares about my fans more than I do. And I'm telling my fans that, trust me, the people who don't, there's nothing I can do about them. But the people that have been with us for year after year after year, if they know why they keep coming back, because people trust us, the way we make decisions. If we knew anything a day before that this was going to happen, I would have never taken this money, ever. And if I did, I would have, of course, apologized. But for me to apologize means I knew who he was and I did this. No.
Or you failed to do the due diligence.
We did the due diligence. The due diligence didn't show up any red flag for us to see.
Their business model made no sense. I mean, look. I'll be honest. Let me be transparent about my backstory with this whole case, because maybe you did.
The only thing I will tell you is I can continue this conversation. I literally just landed. I'm in my 3-piece suit. If you want to FaceTime me, sitting by the water. My kids are waiting for me to go in. It's my daughter's 10-year-old birthday yesterday, and I'm on the phone with you. So if you can keep it to 5 minutes, I'll go 5 minutes with you, and then please.
Yeah. Five minutes. Five minutes is fine.
Go ahead.
No, I'll just give you some backstory on this case. Okay, so I got sent this case by somebody. You know, it was very quick to understand. You know that this was a ridiculous Ponzi scheme. Okay. This wasn't a complicated fraud. As soon as I got his marketing information, as soon as I got a hold of the pitch, it was very clear what they were doing. So that's why that part of it's failing for me. As far as you're saying, look, you
can have that opinion. And by the way, maybe next time we send a message to you and you bill me, so I don't have to deal with something like this. You think I want to deal with something? If you have this service for me, I would send every one of my.
I think it's going to be $1 million. I think it's going to be $1 million. I'm joking.
Anyway. Yeah, man. I don't know. Patrick Bet David, for whatever reason, man, he kind of gives little sleazy vibes. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I rock with him, but I feel like he always trying to sell something. Then there was another thing where the people who have like bought into some of the things that he's been selling, they're accusing him of just kind of having and running like a whole like Ponzi scheme. Let me see if I don't even know if I could find that at this point. If not, we'll just move on. Can I find it? History. Give me a second. Can I find this shit or no? No. I think Traplo Ross covered it.
Get me back in, and I
hit a target. And man,
I don't know what PHP stands for. To a successful career as a podcaster, as a presenter, as a
you keep your work options open, all that. And at the time, I was actually 17 years old.
So they're actually accusing Patrick Bet David of kind of like having this pyramid scheme where it's like, you know, you have to recruit people that kind of come underneath you, and then those people recruit people, and it's really the definition of what a pyramid thing is.
I was going into my senior year of high school, and I basically just went through the PHP to get it in the system so he could hit his like promotion or something. That was my first exposure. And
so a lot of people have been kind of, you know, have come across Patrick's company, and it just don't really add up. What do you mean $200? I'm no big city lawyer, big city, big money person, but I've got a few people that work for me.
Yeah, man. Shit's not looking good. Anyway, let me look at some. There's a few other videos that's kind of circulating. Also, I want to get to this Lotto and Cardi B shit too. They said there's a YouTuber, Lil Baby. They said Lil Baby tried to bully a nigga out of his section. YouTuber refused to give up his $2,000 section for a Lil Baby.
No, we're not going nowhere. We're not going nowhere. We're not going nowhere.
So I know you paid already for this side.
So what's up?
All we're doing, so that side is gonna be for Baby and the rest. Jake Live people, we know that y'all paid. We're not telling y'all that y'all not gonna have a section. We're just got to move y'all to make room for Lil Baby's other people. That's all.
So where?
We got 3 booths for y'all right now on the other side of the
Well, no, because you gotta understand, if niggas pay to be on stage, that's what we supposed to be at.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying? If you pay $2,000 for something, what you gonna do? You gonna be on stage? You're not gonna.
Oh, this is some Houston shit, I could tell. This is some Houston shit, man.